Hey everybody, this is Deb from Garden Devotions, and it's January 25th, and I thought I would kind of give a little garden update and some ideas for how you can start planning your garden at this point if you're doing containers. You'll notice that my containers are weeds left over, dead weeds. I have a lot of work to do, and my arch to clear off. The raised bed just kind of got out of hand, and so there's stuff to be done. One of the nice things about containers is you can actually get them started earlier than a regular garden. If you're chomping at the bit to do some gardening, they're a great way to kind of start it inside. You can do some lettuce and other things, and depending on how much lighting you have, you can make quite a difference. The lighting is probably one of the crucial things. Of course, you have to keep them watered and give them good nutrition in their soil, but for the most part, if you provide them with some good dirt and you've got some good lighting, you can grow a lot of things in containers indoors in the winter. So January 25th is not a bad time to start if you're interested. So I'm gonna give you some ideas on what to do. First of all, you may, if you had containers last year, one of the things I found is that I thought, oh, I can just pick them up and take them inside. Yeah, that may or may not work. Like these that are down here on the ground, they're probably frozen to the ground. Although the ground is pretty frozen. We've had snow and it's still cold, but today was just a pretty day. If you look at these, I set these up on blocks last year, mostly just because I didn't have anything to put in the blocks, and it was extra work, and I just thought this would be a way to maybe put them a little more out of reach of the rabbits. However, remember the groundhog got the one, so that didn't work. But I don't think the rabbits bothered them, but I didn't plant anything really rabbit specific in them. So what you can do right now is you can take one of these containers, you can take them inside, and for me, since I have chronic fatigue syndrome, I can't do a lot at any one time, but I could take one container, and that's how I started, is I took one container at a time and I put soil in it and everything. Now this soil is leftover. There's really not a lot I'd have to do to it because it has vermiculite in it and it has the peat, and probably the only thing I'd have to do is add a few scoops of compost of some kind. And it's best if you can give a variety of compost, because if you stick to only one, then you're only giving one source of nutrition. So like the dead leaves, if you have compost that you've done from your yard waste, for me, I always use fish water. That'll be something that I'll add to it, and that's usually what I will water them with. And, those kinds of things. And just, I usually buy a couple bags of cow manure, composted cow manure as well, so I can use that. But basically, you're just topping them off. You take out the dead stuff, and you top it off, mix it in with the compost, the fresh compost, and then it's good to go. There's not a lot you have to do. Now, a couple of years, I tried dumping them out into I had this lawn cart, and so I dumped them out into the lawn cart and then mixed them all up and everything. It's like, no, you don't have to do that. Really, you don't. You'll be just as well if you take the existing soil, just pull out the dead stuff, put that in your compost bin for later, and then just make sure that you've got some new compost in there, some fresh compost, and it'll get ready to go. So that's my suggestion for right now. If you've got a few of these, if you have a basement, maybe you can do them in, or if you are just wanting to do a few at a time, as long as you don't have cats, there's not much to it. But you can easily take them inside, and you can you can start growing things right now in January. if you have a decent light. And really all it takes is you can get a grow light, or you can get daylight bulbs that are like the LED bulbs, or you can get just regular daylight, any bulb that says daylight on it, the fluorescence. You can use daylight for fluorescence. I used that a couple years, and they worked very well. And I got the shop light, the two tube shop light, I can't talk today, shop light for maybe $15 at Lowe's. And then the bulbs, the tubes, the fluorescent tubes, and that's really all it takes. And as long as you have them close enough and you're getting enough light, then you can start growing things. Now, if you're better off growing leafy things like lettuces. If you want to grow tomatoes or something that requires fruiting, then you're going to have a grow light of some kind, because you need that red spectrum in there. And while it is in the daylight bulbs, it's not strong enough to really get them to fruit very well. So you would need that. But for now, this is where I'm at. I'm not going to take them inside and work on them because I'm still kind of recovering, and January is a really hard time for me physically. I don't do well, probably because I don't get to see the sun very much. But I'm going to have to get somebody this year. I'm going to have to get 2 or 3 people who can help me get this started, get it cleaned up and get it started. Once it's started, the maintenance is not too bad for me, but last year I just wasn't up to it. I was still really in kind of a body crash, and I was trying to make some money doing something else, doing the jewelry stuff and the dragon eyes. So that's kind of where I was at. This year, I think I will be able to do some, but I have about 50 cat litter containers right now. This is too many. I just can't do all these. I don't really want to get rid of them, but I'm going to have to pare it down. So when I get my catalogs, my seed catalogs, which are starting to come in the mail, I always love that. I'm going to have to sit down and really think about what I want to have, because there are some things that, while they're fun to grow, it's just not practical. I mean, I can go to the store and buy them so much cheaper, and so much, it just is not worth the effort I'll put into it. So I am going to reevaluate what I've got going here. I do have a few things, like here's my asparagus. I'll have asparagus. I did not get my grapes trimmed, and I think I was supposed to do that, but I'm hoping I can do that before they start leafing out or anything, once it gets a little warmer. This is where the groundhog is. Looks like he's still there. Rats. But at least maybe he's not eating my asparagus. I hope he's not. So either that, or my dead cat that's buried here is resurrected and come out of the dirt. Maybe she's turned into a vampire. I don't know. Vampire kitty from outer space. Anyway, so this is where things are right now. It's, not the most pleasant garden at this point, but I'm not too worried. We'll get it in hand. And like I said, I'm gonna see if I can enlist a few of my nephews and nieces to help me out a bit, just to get it started. And if we can get it started, get it cleared, get it started, I can choose, pare down the containers so I don't have near as many containers, because really it's just too many, and pick and choose what I'm going to grow. And that's really the problem you have when, see, I got sticks everywhere. This is the problem you have as a gardener. What do you really want to grow? What do you really need? What will I benefit the most from? And right now, I think probably just carrots, kohlrabi, lettuce. I really like Swiss chard, so I'll probably have Swiss chard. And I don't know. I'm just going to have to think, because I really tried to do too much last year. It is so tempting, but it just goes to waste, and I can't keep up with it. So if I can pare down what I'm doing, maybe 15 no more than 20 containers, I might be able to keep up with that. I hope that in the raised bed. So that's my plan for now. I'm going to go inside because I'm a little cold, and it's not real cold, but it is cold enough that my fingers are starting to really chill as they're wrapped around the camera. So that's it. And you can start thinking about your container garden now if you're going to do one. If you have cats and you're saving cat litter buckets, or if you have friends who have cats and they have cat litter buckets, tell them to start saving so you can set up your own garden. Container gardens are really easy. They do grow well. You can grow a lot of stuff in a container. It's just amazing to me. I've grown all different kinds of things. I have some asparagus. I had a couple extra roots of asparagus and I put them in a container, but I took the container inside for the winter because I didn't want it. I was afraid the roots would freeze out here with these containers, and that is an issue, that the roots will freeze. I had some strawberries in one and it just got too cold for them. So I took those, that container, and the rosemary and the mint inside, the chocolate mint. So hopefully they're growing, they're doing fine. The rosemary's doing wonderful. The chocolate mint, I think the cats are eating it. I've had a cat come up to me and they smelled like chocolate mint. So I'm kind of thinking maybe they've gotten into it. It's not toxic to them, so it's not a problem. And there's not a lot of greenery on it, but it's still alive, and that's good. Now the asparagus, I'm not seeing anything, but it should be dormant. So, and it's a little cooler on my back porch. I mean, it's not the warmest part of my house, so it's not outdoor cold, but it's not too cool either, or it's not warm either. So this is where we're at right now. Start thinking what you want to do, and I'm going to talk more because I am going to plant some lettuce and things. Usually I do that in February, so I just January I need to kind of rest up from everything that happened over November with NaNoWriMo and then all the holiday stuff and everything. I get really worn out. So February I start getting back in the swing of things. And actually some things, if you want to get them started, about February, the end of February, some of the things you'll actually want to get planted so they can start growing and they'll be ready to transplant then in the spring. So I'm going to go in. My fingers are totally frozen. I cannot feel them anymore, so I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks for stopping by. See you later. Bye.